Zelensky bumisita sa Malacanang. 90 billion pesos, sobra sa budget ng PhilHealth. Okay, hindi ko na nilalagay yung PhilHealth, pero yun na nga. PUV, jeepney strike, at marami pang iba. Comes over me, this is Ivor Joseph and welcome to News Item Worthy Recap Weekly Edition number 54. We have thus covered this last week, so skip the tasks provided if it piques your interest. Give the content for the pleasing selective summation. Here is a PH News commentary for your convenience. Zelensky bumisita sa Malacanang. Now, bumisita nitong linggo si Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky sa Malacanang sa kanyang unannounced one-day working visit para makapag-meet kay President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. at bumisita sa Pilipinas matapos ang 21st International Institute for Strategic Studies Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore. Kumaga, ang dahilan kung, or at least ang ating ine-speculate na dahilan kung bakit pumunta si Volodymyr Zelensky, among other things, are the fact that they were supposed to meet in this Shangri-La International Institute for Strategic Studies sa Singapore. But again, they didn't meet. So, maybe pumunta si Zelensky sa Malacanang just to, catch up and mamaya later on, I will tell you everything. President Zelensky donned a black t-shirt and what they call a pair of olive fatigue pants. Now, I don't know what the fuck that means. And as you can clearly see, I am not a man of fashion. That's why the only thing that I know about this is the black t-shirt thing and not the olive fatigue pants. Now, as you remember from the previous NNTW recap, isang keynote speaker si President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. sa naturang event which a lot of people actually commended him for actually delivering something that isn't really provoking anyone, or at least avoiding any harsh language against other countries that would be where the rhetoric is being thrown upon. Now, we don't really know why he did visit Malacanang, but the boilerplate answer to that question whenever a head of state visit another country is to say that the reason why this president of A visited President, or at least the country of President B, is that they want to bolster ties between A and B, or these countries A and B, along with probably diplomatic just because ism. And because he wants the support of everyone in their ongoing battle against the Russian army, thanking the Philippines sa mga UN resolutions favoring Ukraine, or at least yung kanilang pagboto.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Your team, we are very happy to be first time in Philippines. I'm sure not last. Thank you for this invitation, and we are very thankful to be in your country and which supports Ukraine, our territorial integrity and sovereignty. Thank you so much for your big word and clear position about us, about this Russian occupation of our territories, and thank you on your support on the in UN nations with your resolutions. Mr. President, I'm happy to hear today from you that you participate our peace steps to the peace. That's real thing. What really want our people just to bring peace to our homes. Yes, and thank you for participation of Peace Summit. That's very strong signal. Like I said, we have for today more than 100 countries. I think it will be maybe not the last again, but the first very strong step on the way to peace.
Now, he also said that Kiev is also planning on establishing an embassy in Manila, even though there's little crossover between the two countries. But
and I'm also very happy that this year we will open embassy in Manila. That's very good decision.
That's certainly very good news, because we would very much like to continue to help in any way that the Philippines can through the multilateral, the United Nations, and even through other agencies such as the EU, such as the UN, and so we will continue to do all that we can to promote peace and to bring an end to the fighting.
Now, of course, he's in Asia to gather support para sa upcoming summit sa Switzerland on June 15 to 16 with Russia not invited. Samantalang 107 countries at ilang international organizations ang nagsabing pupunta sa nasabing event including, or at least the Philippines. Pero of course, hindi pa masyadong sure kung a-attend si President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. or magpapadala siya ng kanyang envoy. Even President Biden, even though he said that, or at least the White House correspondent said na even though hindi pupunta si President Biden has been a staunch ally of the Ukrainian army. So even though si President Kamala Harris yata ang pupunta, they know, or at least they will know that, you know, President Biden is with Ukraine. Now, President Marcos then said that Ukraine will always have the support of the Filipino people, promoting peace to the world, especially since, you know, the fact that the popular, or at least right now, the contemporarily elevated world leader going out of their way to visit a country shows that the Philippines is indeed in a good direction or position diplomatically in the side of the West, or at least we are in the good graces of the Western powers, since the people that do in fact support Ukraine against its defense of the special military operation conducted in the Donbas region, and the fact that, you know, Russia is trying to take over Ukraine, or at least Kiev at that point, back in 2022, since we don't really do anything except our diplomatic power in the UN and the world stage. So our only greatest asset would be our support in the UN resolutions and some other stuff that, you know, it doesn't really matter. Pero since Ukraine is trying to gather support for their peace summit in Switzerland for June 15 to 16, is that right? Yeah, June 15 to 16. Well, you know, he's gotta take everything. 90 billion pesos budget sobra sa PhilHealth. Naisuwalat sa isang hearing from the House Committee on Appropriations ang mahigit kumulang 90 billion pesos na sobrang budget sa Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, o just say PhilHealth kasi gusto kong pahabain to, which is why I'm doing this, para sa taong 2021 hanggang 2023. Now, I don't have the Grand Slam home run topics for this video kasi tinatamad ako and I have a lot of stuff to do. Pero, you know, since hindi nyo naman pinanood yung divorce episode ko, tapos hindi nyo rin masyado pinanood yung Mig Zubiri post ko, well, this would suffice for now since medyo I'm on a down low, lalo na I had the peak of around 67,000 views in 1 month and 160 subscribers or 180 subscribers in... Pero yun nga, and anyway, ang breakdown ng sobrang budget PhilHealth na sinabi ni dating Health Secretary Duque na may bas-bas ni former President Rodrigo Duterte, well, in 2021, in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, 27.1 billion pesos ang nasobra. Noong 2022, around 24 billion pesos, and lastly, in 2023, last year, nasa 38.8 billion pesos. Now, talagang magugulat ka na lang sa laki ng nasusobrang budget ng korporasyon ng isang government agency na ito. Especially since, you know, this is a government agency and this is a government corporation, meaning that it shouldn't have those kind of, this discrepancy at overestimation that is around 30 billion per year from 2021 to 2023. Those are some grave inaccurate estimates considering yung ilang million nga lang ng ilang ahensya ay tagang tinutugis at ini-scrutinize. So it's a big surprise na they passed everything despite their overestimation again and again. Kasi sure, maintindihan natin yung 27.1 billion pesos na kanilang budget for 2021. Maintindihan natin, okay, sure, it's a bit kind of odd na 27.1 billion pesos ang sobrang budget mo. But sure, hindi mo naman pupunta sa 2022, bibigyan mo sila ng ganun pa rin kalaki na budget considering nalaman natin na 27 billion pesos ang napunta sa kanila, or at least yung sobrang budget sa kanila. So it's kind of weird na they approved the budget again and again and again, considering again nga na palaki ng palaki yung kanilang surplus. Is it a surplus or something, or at least unappropriated funds? Hindi ko alam kung tamang term yun, but that's what I am going with. So, what they need to do, or at least yun yung sinabi from the House Committee on Appropriations, na what they need to do are either babaan ang mga kinokolekta sa ating mga kapwa manggagawang Pilipino, talagang hirap na sa kanila mga close to or minimum wage jobs. I mean, ang laki ng kaltas, tapos magugulat na tayo na bilyones pala ang sobrang budget. So, either, again, babaan ang kinokolekta sa ating mga kapwa manggagawa, and of course, the other option, to expand their benefits to reach more Filipinos and give better quality care in terms of assurance ng insurance nila. Sa mga pagkakataong talagang gipit at hirap in cases of accidents, illness, or even death. That's their duty to the Filipino people.
Kayo, PhilHealth, clearly nabibilaukan po kayo sa dami po ng pera na pumapasok sa inyo. Kami rin po dito, nabibilaukan po. Hindi namin po malaman kung anong gagawin. Pero klaro po na kailangan talaga natin i-adjust pababa talaga ang inyong sinisingil.
There is room for catastrophic health insurance or carving a catastrophic health insurance for senior citizens within the PhilHealth system.
Christian din ang pagkamahal-mahal raw ng COVID testing kits and package na binili noong kasagsagan ng 2020. And ang sabi ni dating Health Secretary Ren, which, by the way, Janet Gagarin, sa kapanuhan ni Pinoy from 2015 to 2016, ang siste 8,000 daw ang halaga ng nabiling COVID testing kit noong 2020 or in the early parts of 2020, pero ang sinasabi daw ng World Health Organization na talagang bare price or the suggested retail price, you can't really call it suggested retail price, pero yun na nga yung gagawin kong term, is 2,000 to 2,500 pesos lang. So that's a discrepancy of what? That's weird. Pero again, this is more of a supply and demand issue. And of course, ang sagot naman ni dating DOH Secretary Francisco Duque na talagang supply and demand ang nagiging problema doon. Naggagahol ang mga bansa na kumuha ng mga testing kits, PPE at marami pang iba sa mga unang buwan ng COVID pandemic, at kinalaunan naman raw, nag-stabilize naman yung presyo after the production has caught up with the demand and of course the supply. Here are some more PH news for your convenience. Teaching allowance, dinoble. Nilagdaan ni President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. ang Republic Act No. 1197 o ang Pinangalan ng Kabalikat sa Pagtuturo Act. Sometimes it's hard to speak. Ang RA 1197 o ang Pinangalan ng Kabalikat sa Pagtuturo Act na magdodoble sa mga teaching allowance ng ating mga publikong guro from 5,000 pesos to 10,000 pesos para sa school year 2025 to 2026 at not subject to tax. So, you know, that's good. Sinasabing kulang-kulang or sinasabing kulang-kulang 1 milyon ang mabibigyan ng ganitong allowance. I don't know why I keep stumbling upon my word. Pero yun nga. This would greatly reduce the stress at syempre financial constraint of having to buy their own supply, hoping na kakasya ito sa 5,000 pesos na i-allot or inallot ng gobyerno, especially before 2021, bago itinaas ang teaching allowance sa mga supply ng mga gurong nagtuturo sa ating mga pampublikong paaralan. Now, maybe sa kanilang bagong allowance, makakabili sila ng speaker na maingay yung, di ba yung may parang lapel sila dito, tapos may maliit na dito, speaker. Tapos, yung mga Filipino teachers, alam niyo, ayun na nga, may makakabili sila ng speaker na maingay na yung the Bluetooth, pero para labanan yung ingay ng 50 to 60 students in one classroom. So, pero yun na nga, this is a great step in the right direction para naman mapakita natin at ng ating gobyerno yung pagpapahalaga sa ating mga magigiting na guro. Maybe sa susunod, dadagdagan na rin ang kanilang mga sahod instead of, say, giving it to a confidential fund for the education secretary, di ba? You know, 150 million, because they almost passed that. If the people didn't have some reservations in the 150 million peso confidential fund of the Department of Education, well, this could have been a little bit different. Now, of course, maraming nagsasabi, or at least maraming grupo ng mga guro ang nagsasabi na, you know, this should be a lot larger. They said, some people actually said that they wanted it to be around 25,000 pesos kasi nga, yung dating mga inaabono ng teacher, you know, kailangan ma-reimburse sila in this kind of way. But, you know, baby steps. And you know, this is actually not a baby step. This is like them taking their first leap and landing on their feet. Kahit na, you know, it's like 2 inches of jump, it's still a jump, and a pretty big one at that. You know, dinoble yung teaching allowance para sa mga materyales at abono ng mga guro. Bulkang Kanlaon bumuga ng abo at lahar or some other stuff. You know. Nagdeklara ng state of calamity ang Canlaon City sa Negros Occidental dahil sa biglang pagbuga ng abo at lahar ng Bulkang Canlaon nitong linggo lamang. Umaabot ng 500 metro ang taas ng pagbuga nito at nabumalot ng ashfall sa rehiyon matapos itong mag-alboroto. Sinasabing nasa 10 billion pesos ang naging pinsala sa mga crops at agricultural products sa mga apektadong sakahan sa rehiyon. Jeepney strike laban sa PUVMP. Mag-organisa ng Tigil Pasada muli ang grupong Manibela o malayang alyansa ng bus employees at laborers laban sa POV modernization programs ng DOTR-LTFRB matapos matuloy ang deadline ng nasabing programang ilang beses nang napostpone nitong huling araw ng Abril 2024. Iginigit nila na di umano'y hinaharas at hinuhuli ang kanilang mga miyembro dahil hindi nga sila consolidated o dahil hindi consolidated ang kanilang mga unit at single operator pa rin ang kanilang business model. Now, sinasabi nila humihingi pa rin sila ng 1 taon na palugit para makapagbiyahe pa ang mga unconsolidated jeepneys because, you know, it's a hard knock life for us. Ang response naman ng LTFRB bakit kayo nagtitigil pasada? Hindi naman talaga kayo dapat nagpapasada. Wala nang epekto ang tigil pasada na ipatutupad dahil wala naman silang karapatan at lisensya para pumasada sa kalsada at bumiyahe sa kalsada ng mga hari ng kalsada. It's a no-no. Now, I don't wanna get in on the everything. I've discussed PUVMP for at least a year now. Pero yun na nga, you can watch my NIDW recap number 49 at ang aking NIDW mini major tidbit patungkol rito and, you know, for more info and opinion. Now, of course, may parts ng ating PUVMP episode of course, out of date data, but, you know, the picture still stands, the broader element of everything still stands. And June 17, Idil Adha. Dineklara ni President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. na regular holiday ang June 17, 2024 in observance of Idil Adha bilang paghihisa sa sakripisyo ng ating mga kapatid na Muslim. Idinakda ng National Commission on Muslim Filipinos ang June 17 para ideklara ng national holiday following the Islamic calendar and the position and phase of the moon. At kinapagtatapos ng news sa Worthy Recap weekly edition for roughly the first week of June 2024. Congrats to everyone. Congrats sa akin, I guess. Kasi wala naman akong, anong tawag doon? Audience. Okay? Most of the more topics and more collections that are related to the language presented in many ways. Some of them are mga formalized, from the socials and the words, and we'll link down below. So susunod muli, you know, I don't know the next word. What's the next word for this? Is it? Alam? What do I do this? You see the sweat. The sweat. At alam mo ba, kahapon pa yung huling ligo ko and it's now 8:13 p.m. So, yeah, it's 8:13 p.m. So, you know, nice.